Hi everyone, welcome back to the Dahlia Society. I have got a special episode for you today, just a little bit of a day in the life, a little bit of a weekly gather. I know I haven't done one of these for quite a while, just a bit of a touch base on what I've been up to. Now I've also had a lot of people commenting about the garden and the bird life and everything that's around where I film, because I do normally film outside. And I've got a special episode for you guys. If you're interested, I'm going to do a tour of our garden. It's not perfect, but a lot of it was basically planted about 20 years ago. We built this place and we have planted it all ourselves. And hubby does the majority of all the gardening. I just potter around a little bit. But if you're interested in that, I will have an episode to show you guys, and whoever wants to tune in, you can have a look at what we've done with the place. Now, I've also had a lot of people saying that at the moment with the whole lockdown and quarantine type of thing, how important it's been to have that connection with the sewing community. And that if you are on your own and you're feeling very isolated from your friends and family, that how important it is to have the whole sewing community here for you. And I also have found that a lot of people have been connecting with me via after each episode with a lot of great messages and just saying little hints and tips what's kept them positive, because I know a lot of you in the US, the UK, and the rest of the world have actually had the same experience being in lockdown and how it's affected your mental health. So having a hobby like sewing, it's so good to be able to use your hands and to be able to zone out and really focus on a hobby, just to take away all the worries and fears of what's going on in day-to-day life. Now, I myself have found I have had a lot of trouble sleeping. I don't normally have any trouble sleeping, but I find, I don't know about you guys, how you're feeling, but it's just I think the subconscious and everything, the worries and what's going on around us really intensifies at night, and I find it very, very hard to switch off. So like sewing for me has been a real savior, because I really find that without the sewing, I think we would be a lot worse off. And I understand a lot of you at the moment, there's a lot of people out of work and a lot of people don't have the disposable income and the funds there to keep and sustain that hobby going. But there are a lot of fantastic free patterns. I have got a few playlists on free patterns if you wanted to tune in and see what great free patterns there are around. I know a lot of people have commented and said what free patterns they've used. And also, I think it was Claire from Penguin and Pear. I will link her episode. She has just put an episode out of really silly things she bought when she first started sewing and things that she didn't need. I think it's great for a bit of a laugh, but it's also great for people to see that they don't need to spend a lot of money on things that aren't important. I think those sort of episodes are fantastic. But there are a lot of people, as I say, struggling financially at the moment, and I think it's great to have those free things to access. And also, there's a lot of places that, online, I think on Etsy as well, that do sell secondhand sheets and that type of thing. Even your clearance sections of a lot of your fabric stores, I always look at the remnants and clearance sections as well. And you can be amazed at what you can find, and even just try and use up what's in your stash as well. But yeah, keep up the great work. I think it's just great to keep motivated with your sewing as your hobby. Another thing I found too that's been great is getting outside. If you have got a space or a green space out, just in a bit of fresh air. A lot of you, I understand, do not have a great backyard or a big space that you can get outside and get a bit of fresh air. But if there's any way that you can get outdoors and even just take a walk in a park, I know we've got to wear a mask a lot of the time, which can be a bit of a hassle, but it's well worth just getting outside for your mental state, peace of mind, and just to refresh yourself, because I think being inside in four walls can be very claustrophobic. And I just think that even 10-minute walk with a dog, or getting out and I did a bit of weeding yesterday. I hadn't got out in the garden for ages. I must admit, I'd let a lot of that go, the veggie patch and everything I had to weed, and it's not the greatest job in the world, but I really find that connecting with an outdoor space and getting your hands dirty, just for an hour a day, I think it's fantastic for what it can do for you. So yeah, if you haven't got that, I understand it can be a bit hard if you don't have the outdoor space. But yeah, if you've got a park, as I say, or a track that you can walk along, I think it really does help. So I'm going to take you for a walk later with the dog. I'm going to show you where I walk with my dog, which is just really close by. I'm also going to take you with me on the way to pick up my daughter. You can see the trip on the way to school I do is a really nice drive. She's just got back to school this week. Although we're in a very small country town, we are still classed as metro, which is kind of ridiculous because we've got a tiny, tiny town, a good 70, 80 kilometres from the main part of Melbourne. So unfortunately, the road blockade that that actually separates the regional and metro area is right at the front of our town on the highway. So we can't then go to regional areas. So we are still in lockdown, and those regional areas are allowed to still have kind of a normal life. I know it's still a bit different to normal, but so my daughter is actually in her final year of primary school, and she's in a regional school, so she gets to go to school. So I get to go and pick her up, which is a really nice outing because that's about as far as we can go. We've got the 5-kilometre radius keeping us in town. The older kids are all doing uni online, which can be very challenging. I know a lot of you guys are working from home and it's not the same. Some of you probably find it's better, it's easier, but other people find it doesn't give them that connection with other people. So yeah, hopefully you're all hanging in there. So a couple of things to talk about. I've got a few things I'm working on. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. All know Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles. We are doing a little collab next week. So make sure if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button because you will get to see what we're going to do together. And we are going to showcase a wonderful Australian pattern company called Pattern Union. And the lovely Sarah from Pattern Union has sent me a few patterns to show you guys. So I'm going to have a little bit of an ensemble there to show you a few creations that I've done. So this is a sneak peek of some of the fabric I'm using, which is a beautiful rayon, almost lurex fabric. Now I've shown you that before. That is from Fabric Store Online, which is a New Zealand Australian fabric company. They've still got it online, so I'll link the fabric below, but I'm going to make a lovely creation with that, and I'm dying to see what Karina's going to do as well. So that is coming next week. The other thing I've got here is my Minerva Maker vlog post. I am about to make a beautiful dress from another Aussie designer called Marsha Style, and that is the Leela dress. So this, I've got about 4.5 meters of fabric. It takes quite a bit of fabric for the maxi version of the dress, but I just love that lilac fabric. I'm really looking forward to brightening myself up with a bit of a dress. I have nowhere to wear it. I can just waltz around at home, but that's okay. It'll make me feel better, but I'm sure I'll get somewhere to wear it eventually. Now, another thing I've had a lot of questions about, I know especially here in Australia, we have a lot of trouble finding places to do our A0 printing. So if you don't feel like putting PDFs together and you really want to spoil yourself, A0 printing is a way to go. Now, normally I would do a click and collect. I will go into my local Officeworks store, which is about a 30-kilometre drive for me, but I will then go in and email the patterns in and wait for them there. But because of the whole lockdown thing and they aren't, they're open for click and collect, but of course we can't leave within 5 kilometres of our area. I've had a few things delivered to home. And the wonderful thing about A0 printing is it's all done for you on poster plan sheets, so you don't have to stick everything together. And I find that I will trace these on the Swedish tracing paper, which I've got on my local haberdashery store, which is JM Embroideries. And I think that a lot of you have gone to buy things off them, like things like zippers and buttons, or they have all your haberdashery needs. They do sell it as well. With your A0 printing, I know that a lot of you have said they've had trouble with Officeworks, and I have as well. Sometimes they will take the download of the pattern and it'll submit quite easily, and you can then get it posted to your house within a few days. They're really great with postage. But other times you'll go to put a pattern in and it won't accept the format, and it's really annoying because you might want to get a whole bunch of patterns done. It'll only take a couple of different pattern companies. I don't know why that is. What I've done, I've gone online to ePrint in Brisbane, and actually, it's cheaper printing, but you pay a little bit more for your courier to post it out. And because of our whole hold up with our postage issues here in Melbourne, it took me about 3 weeks to get it, but that was no fault of theirs. That was all due to Australia Post. So they'd actually sent it the next day, but I was really happy. Cost-wise, it's a lot cheaper than Officeworks. Having the patterns all printed is a real luxury if you're used to sticking them together yourself. I've also had people say snap printing is really good as well. There's quite a few printing services that do it. If you know yourself that you've had great luck with anyone, please let me know in the comments. You get your A0 plans printed here in Australia specifically, because we do have a lot of trouble sourcing these places, and especially has to be cost effective as well. So let me know that. Now, another episode I'm thinking about bringing out is any Q&As. A Q&A episode would be fantastic. I've had a few people ask questions specifically about myself, if I do things like sewing lessons, which no, I don't. And there are a lot of people online that do sewing lessons online, and they can take you through, basically sew-alongs. At the moment, it's a bit hard to do sew-alongs as the way we're all at home and we're all working from home at the moment, just to get that space, because I don't have a designated sewing room of my own. My sewing area is in my lounge room, so it's a little space, but it's not actually a designated sewing room, so it can be a bit awkward to do sew-alongs. But I know a lot of people on YouTube have fantastic sew-alongs, and there's also things like Craftsy, which you can do your sewing lessons for certain things. There's also a lot of great YouTube vloggers that do fantastic tutorials as well. So great things to look up if you need that little bit of help if you're a beginner sewist and you want to learn some basic techniques. Now, I've also got a pattern test that I've been working on. I'm bringing out an episode about my favorite jackets. Now, these are not coats. These are more like jackets that you can wear kind of day to day. So they're not like your heavy lined coats. They're more like the easy, more casual, shorter wear jackets. I've got a great pattern coming out from Davies, who actually did a whole episode on her Jasmine dress. A lot of you love that dress, and her Cora top as well. She's released a jacket called the overlap jacket. So I've got an episode coming out with all my favorite jackets, a bit of a roundup. I'm going to show you exactly what I did with that pattern. I made 2 different versions as well, and I think it's a brilliant casual style jacket that you're going to love. Just on the way to pick up our youngest, who is at a primary school about 20 minutes drive from our house, about 20 kilometres. It's a fantastic, really small country school. So we'll give you a bit of a video of the journey there. Now this is where I do a lot of my thinking about what I'm going to sew, what fabrics I want to put with what. The driving time actually is really good for mental preparation. So, and look at the view I get. How spectacular is that? So that's our drive to school. That's a pretty nice scenic drive to school. Even though it takes a fair bit of my time, a bit of a chunk of the day, it's well worth it, and it's a really beautiful environment for her to go to school in. So just piecing together another PDF, I'll show you what I'm up to here. Got the Cora from Pattern Union, and of course I forgot to order this one with the rest of my A0s. Meg's here helping me. Hi Meg. Hi. And I'm nearly finished, so I'll be getting up to start on this very soon. And I don't know about you, but I like to have the 70s channel on when I'm sewing. It's pretty daggy, but who cares? It's really cool music. Everybody's waiting to go for a walk. Walk? Yeah. About 1 kilometre from our home, so not too far. But come with me, I'll take you through the bushlands. pretty in here. We've actually got a lot of local native animals. We have echidnas, wallabies, little kangaroos, and wombats. And a lot of bird life too. And even, be wary, sometimes big snakes are in here, especially in the hot summertime. So you have to be really careful where you're walking because you don't want to walk on one of those. Hope you've enjoyed that today. So a little bit of a different episode there. Q&A, please comment below if there's anything you want to know about myself or about sewing, different questions, anything at all. I'm happy to answer, and I'll be doing an episode on that when I can round up these questions. So yeah, go ahead, the comment box below. I want to know your questions, and I will hopefully be able to answer them to the best of my ability. People have said they've enjoyed the regular episodes just to keep them busy and keep them inspired. So hopefully you've enjoyed that too. So take care, happy sewing, and bye for now.